Hi, I'm Steve Shanesy with Popular Woodworking Magazine. In our February issue, Gary Rogowski describes a really clever way to fix the one age-old problem we all face. That is, four-legged objects that are tippy. As you can see, here we have a chair which really needs an adjustment. Of course, one question is it the chair or is it the floor? In this case, it's both. To test if the legs are level or not, it's better to put whatever the problem object is up on a known flat surface. Here we have the flat table of our table saw, and yes, you can see that it still is tippy. So what's Gary's solution to this, and what are other options? Well, you could turn the chair over and use a file to shorten the leg, but that's rather a tedious operation. And it's difficult to hold things like chairs and stools and so forth while you work on them. The ends of the legs are always end grained, so you'd have to use a block plane if you were going to try to just shave a little bit off, but that's tedious as well. A saw might be one solution, but if you have to just remove, say, 1/16 of an inch, or maybe even slightly less or slightly more, you don't really have enough stock that you're cutting into to effectively saw. And chances are you might saw too much, which will lead to tipping in another direction. So let's look at Gary's solution. We're going to do it on the table saw, and let me get these things out of the way just a moment. But we're not going to use the table saw in a conventional way. One might think that you would tip the piece over and try to make a shaving cut this way, but the chair is off in so many different angles that that's a problematic approach. Instead, what we're going to do is pass the long legs of the chair over the blade in a transverse direction, this way. Now, we're not going to do it with the blade up this high. So we will lower the blade, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'd just like to point out that the best type of blade to use when doing this is a blade with a flat top grind on it. Typically, that would be your rip blade. That's going to give a smoother, cleaner cut. So to do this, we're going to lower the blade until it's maybe a 1/64 above the surface of the table here. The reason is we just want to make a planing cut. We're going to just be shaving off the bottom of this long leg. To do that, I'm going to hold on to the chair and just pass it back and forth this way. I'm going to stop and then check to see if we're flat yet, and then go back and make any further adjustments required. So let's try that. Here we go. Looks like we'll need a little more. Now look at that. You can see how quick and easy it was, and this chair now is completely stabilized. That's a great trick. I think you'll probably want to try it yourself.